there seemed to be a intensity and a focus, a real understanding in the Joshua fight of exactly where he was, what he was doing, and nothing was going to deter him. This time, while there was nothing wrong with it, that seemed to be absent, right?
Okay.
That little bit of extra that got people's attention with the Joshua fight didn't seem to be there this time. But especially in real time, you're like, man, am I seeing what I think I'm seeing? Well, who knows? Let's see how it starts. He gets in the ring. You meet him in the ring. At that time, are you seeing anything that's like?
No, it's my duty. I always do it. I always go to fighters I've trained in the past. They will bear witness to, because everyone's pumped. It's now. It's gonna happen in any minute now. The fight's going to start. So everybody's charged. And I'm one of those guys. I'm emotionally invested. I'm not saying other coaches aren't. Everyone deals with it in their way. I always walk up to my fighters and I remind them that this ring belongs to them. This is showtime. This is what, you understand? I go through a series of, it's something that just comes out. It's not something I can tell you every word. It just comes out how I feel. To that energy, that it's all about energy. And you can go and watch it back. I was doing the same thing. And tell him, move up, don't stand still. You own this ring. This ring belongs to you. Walk. Yeah? So I have call it a ritual, my routine that I do. That is it. And you can go and watch it. And everything was as normal.
I would say this time, Usyk had that feeling. When he came out, that feeling that we got from Dubois in the Joshua fight is what was emanating from Usyk. And then we get to the face-off. And once again, now in the face-off, I'm getting convinced again because I'm in the arena, but I also have a screen.
Sure.
With my naked eye, I can't really dial in what's happening in the face-off. So I'm looking at the screen from my seat, and I'm like, and Usyk's just following Daniel like, daggers. Even the touching of the gloves is a bit tense. I don't even know that they actually touch gloves. It's almost like they pushed each other a little bit instead.
Partially, yeah.
And Daniel is at that point.
Listen, bro, they're about to go and try and take each other's heads off their shoulders.
I'm seeing from Daniel in the face-off, the final face-off before they kind of touch gloves, that intensity. He's dialed in too. Usyk just seems a little bit more spiteful in his intensity. And it did make me think, if I'm honest, this guy's pissed off.
Yeah.
Daniel's ready to fight, but Usyk looks pissed off like he's ready to destroy. Let's see what happens. As the first fight, or the first bell, I say rings for the first round, now I'm going to defer to you, right? I'm a spectator. This is your fighter and a game plan you put together. How do you see the first round going from the corner?
Right, the first round because they're going to feel each other out, especially Usyk. That's what he does. He collects data in the first 3 rounds usually before he starts going to work. That's his pattern. So the first round, from my recollection, I've watched it back since then, went good. With the exception of, I think we took 3 solid jabs from Usyk. Normally he loops it over. This time he opted to go under our guard because we came in with, I said to Daniel, one of the main things for this fight, I want a left high guard, being as we got beat from a jab, dropped 2 times with a jab. So we have to shield that left side and cut off his supply, his entrance. The man is a genius because obviously he must have anticipated we're going to do that. It's not rocket science. We thought we had his entrance blocked. He opted to go on that. The first 2, he landed 3 warring jabs in the first round. Yeah? Okay. And to the person receiving it, it's a human being. When you feel that, also a question, I'm going to come back to finish asking the question. One day, I will bump into the genius one, Oleksandr Usyk, to ask him, are you a convert? Convert meaning, in Cuba, from the age of 6, if you're right-handed, when you go to a boxing gym, they automatically switch you to box as a left-handed person, a southpaw. Usyk is probably, don't quote me, he has to say it himself. Or you ask him if you, Don Charles wants to know, tell the public, are you a convert? Convert in the sense, are you originally right-handed who boxes as a left-hand person. Yeah?
Right. Is he a right-handed person that has learned
he's operating as a southpaw, but that explains why he generates so much power with his right-hand jab. Yeah?
Right, okay.
So it's just an observation that I could be right that he's a convert or no. Coming back to what I was answering. So we took 3 significant jabs in that first round. I know my boy very well, Daniel. He disguised it well, but I knew he was hurt by those jabs. What happens to any fighter, speak to any fighter, just like the AJ fight, that sets the tone.
Okay.
Right?
Right.
So we come back, I'm cool, collected. How do you feel, young man? He said, I'm good. I said, right. He's sneaking under your arm with the jab instead of looping over the top. We rehearsed what to do, how to block that shot. I'm not here to teach people, I'm here to explain to people. Sure. So the fight carried on. Right, the Usyk was finishing. Also at the end of round 2, going into 3, I recognized that because he's smart. Daniel might be in the round competing 50-50. He switches it 20 seconds at the end of every round. He opens up to win the round.
He shifts up in gears.
To have the last say in every round, which he managed to do. We were aware of this. I said to Dan, we need to work to the end of the round. Don't switch off, right? I believe, I'm not a judge. I gave out of the first 4 rounds, I gave us 1 round. I believe it might be in the 4th round. Yeah, I scored for us in our favor because Daniel started to do what part of the game plan is no single jabs, doubles, triples, if you can, probing jab, not even to make contact.
It might have been the 3rd round, no?
Maybe. Okay. 3rd or 4th. But I know one of the rounds, listen, we lost the fight. I'm just saying how I saw the fight, right?
Okay, but Don, this is the kind of point I want to get at. And they're fine points because, yes, okay, I can understand the way you see the first round. It seemed to me that Daniel was, maybe your advice in the corner was working, and he was starting to have some success with that jab. And we were all looking, everybody, it wasn't a secret. We were all looking for the double jab. We're looking for Daniel to be authoritative with that double jab and consistent with it. And I believe it was the 3rd round where he got it in, followed it with a right hand, probably his best combination punch of the fight. And it was surprising to me that he wasn't consistent with it. And that by the 4th round, really, I feel like he was just laying the jab out. Like he would lay it out, not bring it all the way back. He wouldn't double it up. And you said something about the 2nd round about, you can't switch off at the end.
Of course.
Do you feel like Daniel was switching off in the fight?
No, not switching off in the sense that he's forgotten the game plan. He had his shape. We have a code that says shape. He had his shape. He never lost his shape. It administered single jabs, which was forbidden, right? Double jabs and triple jabs we wanted. We got powerful single jabs.
Why do you think that was?
Which maybe the man in front of us, called Oleksandr Usyk, knows how to diffuse that powerful jab. So if you're not having success with your rangefinder, it's highly unlikely you're going to have success with your takeout shot.
Okay.
That's the genius of the man. Like I said, he's collecting data. Then it's, okay, this is what they're doing. And Usyk, in the 1st and 2nd round, tried to hit Daniel with power, his left power shots. And Daniel was successfully parrying those. Yeah? As early as that, Usyk was letting his backhand go, right? And Daniel successfully was parrying them, blocking them. Yeah? Look, we couldn't sit here dissecting this fight piece by piece. There was things we did right, improved from the previous fight that Daniel had with Usyk. So I'm happy from that perspective that he was able to put Usyk on his back foot Yeah.
Right. And it seemed like Usyk, once he had that experience on the back foot for the first round, he started to make the adjustment in the second round, which is why the second round was a bit even, not exciting.
Those rounds were won by Usyk, but they weren't, you know.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
He didn't dominate the rounds, really, but I feel like that's because he was switching.
It's collecting data. Data.
But then in the corner, the other observation, criticism from many, is that there's too many voices. Chaos in the corner is how it's been
If you label it that.
If you label it that. What do you label it? What was happening in the corner?
What I labeled it is that how we work, the victories that we'd gotten was the same corner. The 3 victories we'd gotten before that fight last Saturday, yeah? It's the same recipe, yeah?
Okay.
It's the same recipe. Yeah, it could be a recipe for disaster or it could be a recipe for success. In the 3 previous fights, it was the same voices, yeah? It should be my voice. I always wait and I deliver my information when the fighter rests, comes, brings their breath down. I'll give my few information, not overload, right? Daniel is well documented. His dad is in the corner. He recognized the dad's voice. I said that's the same corner that got us those emphatic victories that people said we weren't going to win. There was reasons why it's accumulation of different elements that aided Daniel to get those victories. And it's exactly the same recipe. So why must I then listen to people? I'm not ignorant. Let's get that right. It's a formula that was working for us. It didn't work on Saturday. Simple as that. In any sport you do, whether it's football, cricket, tennis, it's the same thing. When the opposition beats you, it's not because you're not good. The opposition on that day applied what they trained and planned to do better than you did. That's usually the winner.
You are comfortable that in the corner, you were able to get the instruction to Daniel clearly that you wanted to get across.
Correct.
Whether it was successful or not,
correct.
You got through to your fighter.
The same methods that got us the previous victories. If there was no previous victories, and then we could be then fair to judge us on that, it was chaotic, it was chaos. Go back and watch the previous fights that Daniel won. The same corner, the same voices.
You say that, and I think rightly so, that the reason we didn't see the double jab we were expecting or the power that I was hoping for with the follow-up right hand is because Usyk effectively took that away.
It had something to do with that.
The instruction that you got to Daniel effectively, that he did hear based on the way you perceive it, was he able to execute any adjustments? Was there anything that you asked him to do that he either wasn't able to do or didn't do?
No. He was getting into the fight.
What about the head movement? Is the head movement an issue for Daniel in general, or was it an issue in this fight? Is there something about him?
No, there isn't. I know where you're going with this. Daniel moves his head very well. It wasn't consistent in this fight. Okay, you're in front of who we now know and classify as a generation, one of the definitely top 5. If we haven't got to that yet, but if I were to, and maybe top 3.
Well, top 1 right now for sure. We don't know about other generations.
Yeah, exactly. As we speak right now, I'm talking for the history of the sport to ever have gloved up.
Sure.
Yeah. So, come on, and Daniel's a 27-year-old young man. He's already a world champion at his age, challenging for the undisputed. I will answer your questions. But obviously, it's not a secret. I'm an emotional guy. I must try to hold myself together. Like I said, I was very vocal before the fight. I'm not going to run and hide. That's not me. Any questions you have to ask me, I will answer you honestly. I'm always doing that. I'll probably get crucified from after this interview, right?
Listen, remember, all you can ask for is honest answers.
I said
I think you're doing
I will live and die by the truth. My truth. My truth might not be your truth, but I can't help you.
obviously, you do know where I'm going with this, because that is something that was obvious, it would seem to a spectator, that, well, I mean, Daniel's got to have some defensive head movement to stay away from what Usyk is able to deliver offensively. That is why I asked, did you think, like, in a sense, that he switched off? Because that brings us to the first knockdown, right? So from the corner, how do you see the first knockdown happen?
The first knockdown is a typical southpaw move. Showed him the left with intentions to hooking him right behind. If I hit you behind the ear here, trust me, it sends your equilibrium everywhere. So he went down from that, yeah? People will say, oh, he got up, took the count, got up, and then they went into exchanges. Most fighters would have opted to hold, which wouldn't be wrong, till you fully recover, get your senses. But Daniel, being the warrior he is, he opted to exchange fire, okay? He went for it.
Right.
Just like Anthony went for it.
Right.
Threw a perfectly good right hand, which partially connected on Usyk. But Usyk, being the guy he is, he couldn't have thrown that punch better. The counter left, it's actually a long left hook. It looked like straight, but it had a hook on the end of it. It was his power left-hand shot, southpaw. Yeah, he looped it, and it was a horrible shot to receive, a brilliant shot to deliver, but a horrible shot to receive.
And he slumps over forward.
Yeah.
And those of us in boxing know, when you go forward,
yeah, it's not a good sign.
Not a good sign. I think it's the best sign you can tell that somebody is unconscious, even if they're on their feet. And what most fighters will do, if you slump forward, of course, the momentum carries you because you are asleep, and you end up face down on the canvas. Very few fighters get up from a face down knockdown, I should say. However, this is what I saw. Not sure what actually happened, but it looked to me, as the fights I've observed in the past, that Daniel was knocked out, was unconscious on his feet, woke up because I think his conditioning was so solid. You know, when guys are able to withstand big shots,
it helps you to recover. Your recovery.
So
yeah.
I think he woke up on his feet after he was knocked out on his feet, and then ended up sitting back on his butt,
right,
from not
and
falling face
forward. Carry on.
Then he gets up to one knee, and there's the pause, and there's the count, and the same stare that Daniel tends to have is somewhat blank, but his eyes are open. He's looking about a little bit. And the count's continuing, but he's not making an effort to get to his feet. Now, what he didn't see, but I saw, and the camera's caught, you threw the towel in.
Correct.
At what count did you decide it was
I was
necessary to throw the
looking,
towel
monitoring, he's trying to get eye contact. Some coaches do it, some coaches don't. I always say to my guys, if you find yourself on the canvas, look for the corner. He was able to look for the corner, looking for instruction. You can go back and watch it, yeah? I'm saying, take maximum count to get up. I think his father was also doing the same signal as me. We're waiting. At a certain point, I thought, no way. I think it must have been 2 seconds. I knew a point where, no, this can't, and you throw the towel in. And the father at the time had also to do the same action.
But what motivated you to throw the towel? What was the thought? That you don't want him to get up? Because there's still time for him to get up.
Yeah, I don't want him to fight on. He's had one knockdown.
Yeah.
And the last one, I saw the shot, you saw the shot. Come on, to get the fighter safety comes, that's what I'm paid for. Yeah?
Okay.
You're playing God for that moment. I can't knowingly, for my macho-ness, for what am I trying to prove? No, there's nothing to prove. We concede. Yeah? So therefore, the fighter has got you in his corner to make decisions. That's what I get paid for. Wrong, or sometimes they're wrong, sometimes they're right. In that instance, I'd seen enough. Even if he could have continued, I didn't want him to continue. Hence the towel.
Your integrity as a trainer, and really your father figure type of approach to everyone who is in your care.
Correct.
Lends also, though, to you kind of stepping in front of a bullet for a guy. And what I mean by that is, are you throwing in the towel because you know he's not going to get up and you don't want him to receive
I don't want him to take any more. No, forget the criticism. Please criticize as much as you want to, right? The easiest hobby profession in the world is to become a critic. If I retire from my coaching tomorrow, which I'm not planning to, it's the easiest thing is to be a critic, okay?
Yeah.
Okay? So therefore, like I said, I get paid to make decisions. Sometimes I've got those decisions wrong. Sometimes I've got them right. I've got them more right than I've got them wrong over the years. So my instincts, my experience tells me, what more do I want? Throw the towel in, stop the fight. There is such a thing to alert the referee, we don't want anymore. I will concede for him. Even if the fighter wanted to carry on, that's what he's paying me for, to look after his well-being.
I'm sure
that's
you've
part
heard
of it.
Post-fight that the thing that if you throw in the towel and the referee stops it, then it's Don Charles who stopped the fight. You're willing to take the slings and arrows. But if you don't, and Daniel didn't see the towel, if you don't, and he doesn't beat the count while he's on one knee, it looks very similar to the first fight. It looks very similar to the Joyce fight. And you're going to hear echoes of Daniel quit.
Yeah.
Daniel didn't want to get up. If he got up at 10 and walked to the corner easily, he could have got up at 8 and shaken it off.
That's their opinion. That's what they're seeing. That's what they want to say. Who am I to tell them that their own, how can I put it, conclusion to that incident, they label it as a quitter. I challenge every one of those people. And what disappoints me, these are all professional, some of them current, some of them ex, who have gone in the ring and fought. Some of them have been also knocked out. What disappoints me is when they actually can spit that word that is loosely used, a quitter. What is a quitter? Any man, woman that climbs through those ropes behind us to fight has got no quit in them, to be able to have the courage to get in there in the first place. But it's their way of making themselves feel better to put. I'm disappointed. Like I said, a lot of them are current fighters. Well, wait, let me finish. Some of them are ex-fighters. It's quite sad to label another fighter a quitter, because he's no quitter in my eyes. He's no quitter in his father's eyes. He's no quitter in his own eyes. Definitely not. Yeah? So please, if that satisfies you, your thirst, quest to see someone fall, then you're a very sad person.
It's uncomfortable because normally I can quote people who are like, in the press.
They know who they are.
Yeah.
You don't have to quote nobody. Yeah.
One of them happened in my interview, right? And these are people who you have relationships with. So they're not just general pundits or writers who are spouting just their opinion. They're people who are close to you and being very critical of your performance as a trainer. And then on top of that, being very critical of Daniel Dubois in the sense that Derek Chisora says after the fight, not only that Dubois quit again, but that you hadn't prepared him properly. He was disappointed that Daniel didn't do what all the British fans needed him to do. And then there's an interaction with you before the fight that's very nasty.
That was after the fight, basically.
Oh, that happened after the fight. Okay, so, I have to at least bring it up because he was so vocal about it. It wouldn't be right for me not to give you an opportunity to respond to Derek's comments.
Okay. How many times over the years have you interviewed me?
I can't count.
Countless.
Yeah.
Right. I've never denounced Derek Chisora publicly. I've never denounced Derek Chisora publicly. I'm saddened. It's okay when strangers who don't know me, I don't know them, are criticizing my current charge. But when somebody who's my firstborn in boxing, somebody who gave me the entrance to the boxing business as we know it, that's actually the one that hurts me. I'm a human being after all. When I hear that, it's sad. And I'm going to go further. This is what's destroying the black race worldwide. The same behavior, the same mentality Very, very sad. And there was an incident in the Bible. You know me, I always do quotes.
Yeah.
When the harlot was being stoned, people were spitting at her, stoning her. She was a harlot. And Jesus said, he or she who has not sinned, cast the first stone. So I put that to you guys. He or she, but in this case, it's men. He who has not sinned, cast the first stone.
The other side of the criticism that comes to Dubois in that light is immediately in any fight. This is not unique to you. When a fighter loses, the first thing they're going to do when they finish criticizing the fighter themselves is come to the trainer. Mm-hmm. Another person whom you have a relationship with, and he's not the only one saying this, but I bring him up in his quote specifically because you have a relationship, you have a history, you've worked together.
That's the one that hurts. It hurts.
He says you should resign before you're sacked, inferring that the way you prepared Daniel, what happened on the night, is grounds for dismissal.